De-aging. Bringing people back from the dead. This is the Twilight Zone. I'm Greg.
I'm John.
We have a patron video request here from YouTuber who passed 1,000 followers recently, Omni Media, Michael B. Jordan. He has a very specific request, a topic that he would like us to discuss here. His full message reads something like this. For this month's video request, Vin Diesel, he released a photo from the set of Fast 9 with Paul Walker's brother, hinting that Brian's presence, this is my impression, it's also my Bill Hader impression, will be felt in the film.
Please do this whole podcast in Bill Hader voices.
With them using his brother as a CGI transfer body double. Do you think they should have Brian O'Connor / Paul Walker appear in the film post-mortem or leave it be? I say yes. And de-age Michelle Rodriguez while you're at it. She's looking gray.
Oh,
We have seen this with Peter Cushing.
Michelle.
She looks great. She's hot as ever.
Yeah, she's like the baddest ass one of them.
And the hottest ass. We have seen this with Peter Cushing in Rogue One and discussed when involving Carrie Fisher in Rise of Skywalker. How do you feel about even with the family's consent, how do we feel about it? This comes off the heels of this Vin Diesel post about possibly alluding to having Paul Walker's character return here. I think it would be fascinating to see it done, just to see the outrage.
And the outpouring of weird support, too.
Yes. Yes, it's difficult for me to imagine what layer of context this is appropriate. I think it's only appropriate currently, at least. Maybe they'll pull it off one day and be like, "Shit, Marlon Brando was great in that latest Marvel movie." You know?
Yeah. They pulled him over from the DCU.
Like, wow, he's awesome. I don't know which going forward, but I think it's all right for like a Fast 7, Furious 7, whatever which one's called. Yeah. Part 7. I think it's all right for that. Even what they've been doing, Rise of Skywalker, I think that's okay, because of the fact that they did shoot some footage, and we've tried doing things in the past already where you just get some double to show up and don't acknowledge it.
Or, you have them hold their cape over their face for the entire film or something.
Like Brandon Lee's The Crow had some doubles in there. And I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they actually did do some like 90s CGI to the face to make it look more like him.
Interesting.
I haven't seen the movie in a few years. I grew up watching The Crow like for so many years, but I didn't actually haven't seen it in so long that I can't recall any specific moments. But I remember Bruce Lee's last movie that he directed and starred in, Game of Death. There's another actor who fills in for him because he died during production. Oh, which is kind of weird because there's a funeral scene for the character and they used Bruce Lee's actual like footage from his real funeral. Like him in the coffin. Strange.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
And then the other actor who's clearly not Bruce Lee is just in the movie.
Oh, no.
So in cases like that, they did all this work. It's not complete unless we can't complete this without them.
And this person was on board to complete this from the get-go.
Yeah. So I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's freaking weird, though, if we got a brand new, like if they did this for Fast and Furious. No, my God. I don't know why Vin Diesel's under this impression that this is a franchise that is deep.
Well, and that's the thing is Paul Walker's brothers have extrapolated a bit on this about the possibility of bringing Brian O'Connor back, and the word they kept using was tasteful. And I kept thinking, like, what is tasteful in a Fast and the Furious context?
Yeah.
Like, are they only going to have him on another kind of like he's with his family on the beach sort of shot, or is it going to be I don't know. If they do open the door, I could just see it snowballing into he's a complete character by the next movie. And using that sort of thing where like, well, he loved the franchise. He would have wanted this. And I don't know, like maybe he would have. And at a certain point, I feel like it's going to create this weird conversation where you've got the family's opinion and then all of us who don't know this person's opinion and will never get the actual person's opinion. So I think for me personally, the idea of bringing him back, without some kind of completion element is a bit ghoulish. Like, I feel like because then it's forcing me to acknowledge it in a whole other way.
Yeah.
I think, like, the more we get removed from people's lifespan, like, the thing is, I spent most of Rogue One thinking, is Peter Cushing still alive? And then, partway through, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I heard when he died. And then, and that was an effect that I thought for most of that movie was convincing enough that I was wondering that. And so that didn't upset me quite to the degree that, like, if they said tomorrow, oh, he's got a plot line in this new Fast and the Furious movie, that would be kind of ghoulish and strange to me. And so I feel like maybe something about the time has something to do with this too.
I can't think. Wonder if they had a situation where an actor passed away, that they got a replacement actor and he was just as, if not better. I can't think of a time when. Actually, I just finished Spartacus season 1, and there's the lead actor who plays Spartacus is wonderful. He's amazing, and I found out, and I was prepped for this early on, that actor. It was diagnosed with cancer, and he died right when they were about to gear up for season 2. And he said, "You guys should find someone else because I'm suffering with cancer and I'm probably going to die." So they got a different actor. I've only seen one episode of season 2, which is apparently like the best season of the show. But generally speaking, most people still prefer the actor from season 1, and it's a like for something like that, like the show's called Spartacus. You need Spartacus as a story, so it makes sense that you got to get a replacement actor in here. Hey
man, everyone's Spartacus,
pretty much. So, I mean that I don't want to make this a whole review about that actor who plays Spartacus, but it's like it's difficult to not compare, because that's a difficult job for that actor to just go like, I gotta go in here and do my own thing, but I also have to kind of make this in the likeness of what that last actor did. And then you just lend yourself upon like a first few viewings to comparison. And
well, obviously, because there is like a weird gap in the continuity where the continuity changes for an outside force no one has control over, so you can't really fault the piece for it, but it's going to be noticeable.
And if he has to try to, duplicate that performance, it's just going to be false. And the same thing if you got an actor to impersonate the deceased actor, it would probably be worse and weird. And no, I'm not for this. They haven't even mastered de-aging technology. It still looks strange. And that's strange. The new toy. It's the new toy, and that still looks distracting, and that looks weird. And I wouldn't want to see. I wouldn't be able to see. I don't know how I could possibly get invested in it. I don't know how I could possibly look past it. I would just be so distracted by what is essentially an impersonation at this point.
Well, because that's inevitably what happens is you'll get an actor to do a very similar performance and interpret it based on them, and then you'll just lay on a bunch of algorithmically chosen sounds and facial tics based on their performances, and
although I wonder if I were to toy with this question a little bit, I wonder how it would be for a biopic. You know what I mean? Like, if you were able to do that with the actors.
That's why this is fascinating.
If you were to change, like, Taron Egerton's face for Rocket Man and make him look like Elton John, per se. Like, how would that translate? Because my issue with, let's say, Sid Haig's the first one that comes to mind because he passed away recently. Rest in peace, by the way. Let's say, like, Rob Zombie wanted to do another Firefly family movie. If you got an actor to show up to do the Sid Haig role,
to like impersonate Captain Spaulding,
impersonate Captain Spaulding, it's strictly just an impersonation at that point.
Well, and that's
but if you're doing a biopic, you can still it's different. It's Like, is this for resurrected characters? Because I would find it really bizarre if they were like, let's bring Sid Hagen for this role, but he's dead for this brand new movie, you know?
Well, I mean, the mythology might maybe allow for that, but I mean, I do think they would never have had the budget for this, but I did appreciate that in the production of that movie, they went to the effort to get as much as they could with him, and then incorporate that into the story, and then give his role to a new character instead.
And what?
3 from Hell.
Oh, there's a new character in it? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. There's a new... Basically, the Richard Brake character becomes a lot of what Spalding would have been doing. There's just a new piece of context added.
Okay.
So, yeah, because, Spalding was supposed to be in much more of the movie, and then, like, a couple weeks out from production, they said they got a call, and his health just wouldn't allow it, and they had to even... I guess it was trouble getting the shots anyway, because, like, insurance wouldn't even ever clear him to shoot, so...
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then, you think about Hollywood, and if this was a, much more expensive movie, then you'd have maybe a CGI Sid Hagen.
Yeah.
And so, that's the thing, is this is one of those where I feel like you're gonna... Right now, I feel like we should be very cautious, because this is gonna creep its way into actors' contracts, and, like, anybody who's gonna appear on camera's contracts now, and I feel like that is where the answer really ought to go. Because if you are... I mean, it's harder with, like, biopic rights, I think, is an interesting application, and that is perhaps the most, solid argument, I think, for the technology, because I think it does become sort of inherently weird if we're just going to start resurrecting people's likenesses and using them however we want, because wherever you draw that line is arbitrary. But
well, it's like if you look at what they do with Captain America in Endgame when he's old.
Yeah.
They had Chris Evans in makeup, and then they had an older actor. Then they had an older actor, and they kind of just sliced it together, and then they did digital touch-ups. Well, I think Chris Evans was in makeup. Yeah, he must have been, right?
Yeah, he was in some sort of makeup to make him look kind of like this old guy, and then the old guy was there to add the realism, and then you kind of married it. And
so maybe you could do something like that with a biopic if you put like an actor in makeup to make him look more like him, and then you digital. I mean, I can't imagine it because I'm still like freaking. With today's technology, it wouldn't look good,
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is I feel like the technology needs to get better. Like, it's almost there, but it's a part of movie magic that needs to be there. Otherwise, the magic isn't working.
Yeah, I haven't seen Gemini Man, only the trailers, but even in that, I'm like, that is some of the best it's ever looked.
Yeah,
but
I'm very aware of it.
Can tell, especially because you're cutting back and forth between what Will Smith looks like today.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also a certain amount of your brain is just gonna fill that gap, and it's gonna go, I know he's alive now, and that's not him.
Yeah, and like, this is the only, like, literally, just in the de-aging talk, the only thing that's brought up consistently that's pulled it off is this, and you brought it up on Collider Movie Talk, is Sam Jackson's de-aging in Captain Marvel. And like how you said, it's because he doesn't look his age. I mean, so it's easier to do that on him.
Yeah.
But that's one movie where he can be like, that was flawless. He was in it the whole time. It looked great. So to slap a whole new face on him, to deep fake the shit out of it.
Well, and the Irishman is going to be a big indicator too, because the thing is, like, everybody's hyping up that budget and stuff, and it's funny because we see this technology used the most, I think, in big superhero type stuff, as Marvel uses it a lot. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen to the technology once we see it across a 3.5-hour drama, where it's very much going to be used as this kind of narrative tool, as a way of enhancing. I mean, it's essentially not the same as the biopic, but you're having the same guy mirror himself at a different point in life. So I would imagine there's a similar kind of visual marriage.
Because they're getting there. There's a YouTube channel. I'm forgetting the name of it. He does these deep fakes. And it's the best I've ever seen it done. And what he does is, like, I saw, like, the Bill Hader ones he does. Like, when Bill Hader breaks into an impersonation, he changes the face. And it's, like, the transitions are flawless when he's breaking in to the face. Like, when he does, like, Tom Cruise or Arnold or Pacino, it looks like him. And the fact that, Bill Hader nails those impersonations down, it's believable. You're still aware of how fake it. You're still aware it's not real, especially because it's switching in and out of his face. But the fact that
there's an element of humor,
a dude who does basic VFX on YouTube and is able to pull this off, I can only imagine where Hollywood can get with this. I do think though that if the only way I could possibly deal with this is if it's for a movie that's already like has a lot of it shot with the actor already and they just need to complete it. If they want to do a little camp, like we're talking about, if it's like Paul Walker on the beach, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if it's like a brand new film,
yeah,
it's like you don't need dead actor or actress, just get a new actor.
And I don't know. I mean, again, this is one of those like Pandora's box pieces of movie magic where I'm like, there are a lot of interesting applications. I think that it is a very broad technology, and I think we should be very careful and considerate as to how we get used to applying it. And I think ultimately that will be the thing is, personally, I would like to see us kind of accept whose identities we don't own on film, and then allow people in the future to decide, okay, you can own my likeness, or if somebody is having a biopic made about them, then they can sign that right over under certain circumstances. Like then I would feel okay because it's under the control of whoever's likeness it is, and I think that's what's the most important.
Yeah.
So,
well.
Jimmy Hoffa.
We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The future is promising.
De-aged. The future looks younger, but somehow weird and waxy.
All right, guys. Well, what do you think of this subject? Why don't you leave a comment down below? Do you think this is appropriate? Should we just wait to see what they're doing? Should they just surprise us?
Or if it's a good movie, who cares?
Yeah, who cares, right?
Paul Walker punched the shit out of all those people.
Yeah, he should star in it.
It's just him beating up guys who look like The Rock.
Next Fast and Furious is called Brian's Revenge.
See, that's the thing is like this is kind of a ghoulish joke, but like I'm afraid that if we don't take care with this, we're so close to that.
Yeah, I know. It could be abused.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. And Michael B., thank you so much for requesting this, my dude.
Yeah.
Sounds like things have been going great for you. And he doesn't have an AMC near him, but he has Regal. So he's got the Regal pass, like the AMC A-list. And I just wanted to say, man, I hope you're abusing those points.
Dude.
What I do is I just buy tickets 3 times a week, and I never show up. So then by the time I go to the theater, I have like $80 in points, and then I buy a bunch of food. I don't even eat half of it, but then I laugh at the employees for serving me.
Oh, you should
6 orders of mozzarella sticks. That equals $80.
And that's the thing. Yeah. And that's the thing is, at least one of those orders, you're literally just throwing over your shoulder and laughing on your way to the theater. Like, we only get to eat a couple of them.
So abuse it, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, you asked me for a tip on a
Just
thing
the
with
tip.
how your girlfriend and you know, like you don't really have the same kind of level of interest in movies. What I would say to that is dump her and get a new girlfriend. I would say
Sell out and stop liking movies. Pick one.
I would say just make a trade-off with her. What I would do is go, okay, we'll watch my movie, and then we'll watch yours. You choose, I choose. You choose, I choose. That simple. And if she doesn't like her, if you don't like her, get a new girl, get some of this technology, slap her face on that.
That's where this is. Yeah. And you'll never have to let go. Ever.